In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Oh, I just love it.
She
All
does.
right, what's up, everybody? So, yeah, we got an hour until the debate where we may actually see Donald Trump's brain melt live.
Our brains are going to melt watching it.
I know, right? So we're going to have some fun before that for the next hour. So we got a lot to talk about. Welcome back to the show. I'm Jeremy Baker. With me, of course, as always, is Mike Foligno. A lot of big things to talk about. We did a show on this a long time ago about how Putin, I said the words I said was Putin is trying to overthrow America without firing a single shot. And I think the recent revelations with tenant media paying influencers millions of dollars over the course of however long it's been to spread Russian propaganda. People like Tim Pool, Benny Johnson. There's also a couple other people, but it's not just the people that we know of that have been paid. That's just the surface of this. How deep does this Russian KGB-style stuff go? Because I think people need to understand who Vladimir Putin is, which we'll get into in a second. We're also going to talk about Trump did a press conference where he didn't answer any questions, but he did defame E. Jean Carroll again, allegedly. I don't know why we have to say that at this point. And then he just talks about being a sexual predator for like 35, 40 minutes.
Well, to be fair, he has a lot of experience, so he has a lot to talk about. He's got a lot of wisdom when it comes to that.
Right. And then he does an event at the Economic Club in New York where he talks about childcare, which is answer for childcare is just absolutely hilarious. We'll play that clip. He also talks about migrants, and he also talks about lifting sanctions against places like Russia.
This guy has no idea how the economy works, how an economy works. I don't think he knows how to spell economy. I don't.
All right, so we're going to get into that, but I don't want to just talk about the people that we know are in the indictment. We know they've been paid to spread Russian propaganda. Just think of it. So if one piece of information out of 10 gets out into the mainstream media, like people like Fox News pick up some of these stories. You got people like Laura Loomer, DC Drano,
Cat Turd.
Yeah. Cat Turd. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene. We all know that she just loves to spread Russian propaganda.
Marjorie Taylor Greene
plenty of times
is a cat turd.
Literally.
Someone on Instagram just asked the P tapes. Yes. P tapes.
Tucker Carlson. We all know Tucker Carlson is a Russian stooge. He's the reason that people think Russia is so nice and they want to go over there. And it's just like, go ahead.
Isn't he currently being paid by like Russian media companies to be a Russian like media personality?
I last heard that he was supposed to do something for RT, Russian television or something like that. Yeah. So it's crazy. So Fox News is complicit. They may not have Tucker Carlson now, but Sean Hannity over the years has done his fair share of trying to.
And he's still helping
Donald Trump either try and minimize the Russian influence or just dismiss it altogether.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? None of this is actually, it shouldn't be shocking because I hate to say it, Hillary talked about it. All right. And I'm not putting that out there because Hillary is some sort of like Nostradamus genius, but we've been dealing with these rumors for how long now? Like there was the
Yeah.
Mueller report, which just vanished. I mean,
Exactly.
we know Russia's been involved, not just because of the things we've seen since Trump has been in politics, but because Trump has been in bed with Russia forever. He's got buildings there.
Since
He was a
the
big
80s,
media.
man.
He was a big real estate mogul traveling the world. There's testimony from Russian officials going back to the 80s that say Donald Trump is a perfect target because he's a stupid jerk who only cares about money and power,
compliments and
status.
money. Yep.
Compliments. They said just compliment him and throw him some money. Like
throw him some cash. He'll do whatever you want. So before
you know
we
who
get
they didn't say that about? Joe Biden or Kamala Harris.
Exactly. So what we're going to do first is I want to remind everybody who Vladimir Putin is, because they just think he's the leader of Russia. But before he was the leader of Russia, let me read this little bio here we got. Putin joined the KGB in 1975 after graduating from Leningrad State University with a law degree. He is not a stupid person, okay?
No.
He served as an intelligence officer for 16 years, primarily focused on counterintelligence and foreign intelligence. His assignments in early career included monitoring foreigners, consular officials in Leningrad. He was also assigned to East Germany back when there was an East and West Germany.
It was in East Germany.
So he was assigned to that as well. So he's not a stupid person. He has the perfect, what do you want to call them? Targets. I don't know the exact word you want to call fools. So he and all right. So what? You know what? Let's first go over what the KGB was about and what the KGB. Because most people don't remember this stuff from the Cold War. So
I mean, the KGB was basically, in a lot of ways, like the SS was in the Third Reich. They are basically the highest ranking secret police / propaganda arm. These are the people that would, right? We see movies about it growing up. The 80s was all about the Russian spies poisoning people and the CIA fighting them, right? And I think there were several Van Damme movies about it. But their biggest impact and what they should be given credit for is they truly understood propaganda in a way that no one ever has. Propaganda has always been a part of the world, about governing, politics, especially war. But man, the Cold War was a whole different level because it went from being just political cartoons and snarky articles in worldwide publications to we're talking like media manipulation. Like we're seeing today.
What I mean, like now we have social media, so it's even worse.
Exactly. So it's all about reach, right? Richard Dawkins claimed the use of the word meme for the way we use it now. A little piece of information that just spreads. That's what memes are. Well, the KGB was brilliant at putting little nuggets in different places and watching it just matriculate all across the planet, targeted. So let's see what they have to say about it. So propaganda in the Soviet Union was the practice of state-directed communication aimed at promoting class conflict, proletarian internationalism, the goals of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and the party itself. So basically, the KGB's job was to convince everyone, that they were the good guys and these are the people you should hate. We'll tell you, trust us. Propaganda can start a large movement or revolution. This is how history records these events. We know this is what it does. But only if the masses rally behind one another to make the images produced by propaganda a reality. Meaning, when someone goes, yeah, but like Aunt Dolores's Facebook account, she found this email from her friend in Florida. That's what this is talking about.
Right. Oh, sorry.
That's what this is talking about.
Gotcha.
So basically, good propaganda must instill hope, faith, and a certainty. It must bring solidarity among the population. It must stave off demoralization, hopelessness, and resignation. It's got to convince people of the right side. Okay? We're not going to go through all this, but some historians believe that an important goal of Soviet propaganda was to justify political repression of entire social groups. We see this. Familiar. Here are the words from someone who knew what they were doing, who was part of the KGB propaganda machine. Class hatred should be cultivated by an organic revulsion as far as the enemy is concerned. Enemies must be seen as inferior. I believe quite profoundly that the enemy is our inferior and is a degenerate, not only in the physical plane, but also in the moral issue.
Oh my That's like Donald. It should have just said Trump in parentheses there.
All right.
It was like perfectly describing him.
The most effective means to achieve this objective was the denial of the victim's humanity through the process of dehumanization, including referring to them as harmful insects, lice, bloodsuckers, and that they need to be exterminated. Those are Donald Trump's words.
Remember how Donald Trump says stuff like vermin? I mean, Donald Trump is the exact definition of this.
Here are some real-world examples of what we know the KGB did. In the 80s, the US CIA estimated that the budget of the Soviet propaganda abroad was between 3.5 and 4 billion in the 80s. Okay, propaganda abroad was partly conducted by Soviet intelligence agencies. Where do we go? They were involved in propaganda and peace movements against the Vietnam War. Gee, remember the culture war that happened? Maybe that was in part because of Soviet propaganda. Let's look at some of the examples. This will blow your mind. Promotion of the JFK assassination conspiracy theories. Discrediting the CIA using historian Philip Agee. I'm not sure what that was for, but the point is, who's telling you that our federal agencies are corrupt and shouldn't be trusted? Donald Trump. Wait. Who's promising to give you the real truth about the JFK assassination? Donald Trump. Let's go. Spreading rumors that the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, was a homosexual. Because, back then, boogity boogity. Promoting conspiracy theories about Hitler's death, including a Stalin-led narrative that he escaped Berlin. I mean, wait, there's more.
Oh my God, is that really
attempts to discredit MLK
That's
Jr.,
crazy.
Stirring up racial tensions in the U.S. by mailing bogus letters from the KKK and spreading conspiracy theories that MLK Jr.'s assassination had been planned by the U.S. government, which is still what a majority of Americans believe. How about this? Wow. Fabrication of the story that AIDS was manufactured by the U.S. scientists, blah, 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 blah.
Remember how Donald Trump says that COVID was, the China virus? I mean, the parallels are insane. So now that we got that out of the way.
And not just Donald Trump, but all the right-wing stooges. And that's the point. They are the propaganda arm of the MAGA movement.
They really are. And they're not even hiding it anymore. I mean, it's this dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. To me, Russia has their hands not only in our social media, our corporate media, because they're spreading the same message, but politicians now, too, are spreading their message. Again, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yep. Donald Trump constantly praises Vladimir Putin, has never said a bad word about Putin, even if he's asked something or they try and lead him into saying, because I have a clip of Sean Hannity, he's trying to get Donald Trump to kind of back away from Putin, and he just will not do it.
Because
he
has the P tapes. He has the P tapes.
He does. He does. Actually, the one clip, because we have the one clip where he's talking about Russia collusion in the Mueller report. And the first thing he's talking about is they don't have anything. They don't have anything. It's so funny. But all right, so let's get into it. First video we have is Russian propagandist Tim Pool, who was more than happy to spread Russian propaganda. He was making, I think, $400,000 a month.
Oh, yeah. I have the numbers. We'll go over that.
But immediately after he found out about the indictment, because some of these people are just idiots and are just
useful.
They're in it for the money. You know what I mean? Somebody's like, here's some talking points. Here's some money.
I'll tell you right now. I think we could say this perfectly. There is a lot of money to be made in right-wing propaganda media because
absolutely
it is very necessary for the Republican Party to drum up insanity because that's all they offer. That's all they have. So they need to scare the shit out of you so you vote for them. They need to convince you through propagandist means that they have the solutions to all the spooky people.
So immediately after he found out about this, he posted on Twitter, notice the Ukrainian flag next to his name. Upon reflection, I now understand that Ukraine is our greatest ally. You gotta be kidding me. This guy. As the breadbasket of Europe and peace-loving people, we cannot allow the fascist Russians,
wait a minute,
all of a sudden, to continue their crimes against humanity. You are the fascist Russian dipshit. Now he wants us to send more money.
Wait a minute. Wait. Could you go back to him for 1 second?
Yeah.
Next to his name up there, that's a Ukrainian flag. and an Israeli flag. And I'm pretty sure you can move away from that now. I'm pretty sure that for months, if not years now, we've heard nothing about how Ukraine is just nothing but Nazis. The Nazis, they're running Ukraine. It's not Russia that's the fascist. Ukraine is filled with Nazis.
Exactly.
So do you support Nazi Ukraine or Israel?
Right. So here's the video of
together,
Tim Pool and the other, who I think is a Russian asset. Can't say for sure, obviously. Laura Loomer. Her and Tim Pool on an episode that they claim they never filmed. But this is probably one of those episodes that he got like $400,000 for.
I'll put it this way. Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. And the reason for that is they've committed crimes. We need to make sure that when Donald Trump wins, we've got an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, a head of the CIA and the FBI. Kash Patel would be fantastic. We can have attorney general. There's some names floating around. And then they can start having their investigators and the feds issuing subpoenas, pulling up evidence, and with real evidence, bring them to judges for warrants. Then these people can spend three years of their lives fighting tooth and nail for the crime against the government for crimes they committed, and we can prove. Yeah. And the reason why we put them on trial is that we can show the whole world we will uncover what you've done. We will make sure everyone knows. And we will
Irony.
They should get the death penalty. You know, we actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, Laura, we actually, she is right. We used to have a punishment for treason, and I think some of these people are pushing the boundaries of the definition of the word.
This is the part that scares me the most. You have these people that are, now we know a mix of people who have taken money to push propaganda, knowingly or willingly, unwillingly, I don't know. But you also have people that are the MAGA true believers. Someone like Laura Loomer is freaking messed up in her skull. She is absolutely a MAGA diehard faithful. Okay?
Yeah. Someone needs to do a wellness check on her.
You now have people that have no idea that they're the ones that are doing the crimes. They are proclaiming that they will find the rest. Right? They can't name them because they don't actually know how laws work. So they just go, crimes against the U.S. We'll get the proof. Okay.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
But like,
all right, so,
you're the ones. You're the ones.
Another person mentioned was Benny Johnson, who we've played before on the show. Oh, I forgot about Ben Shapiro. Yeah.
Tim Pool looks like him. That's funny.
He does. That is funny. So Benny Johnson is another person on here, and he had Mike Davis on his show. We've actually played this clip before because we were talking about Mike Davis, and when we started building this episode, I remember this clip on his show talking about that if Donald Trump gets elected, this is the clip where Mike Davis, who will be part of the Trump administration, talking about locking kids in cages and that it will be glorious. These are his words, okay, not mine.
During my 3-week reign of terror as Trump acting attorney general, before I get chased out of town with my Trump pardon, I will rain hell on Washington, D.C. We've talked about this, Ben. I have 5 lists ready to go, and they're growing. List number 1, we're going to fire. We're going to fire a lot of people in the executive branch and the deep state. Number 2, we're going to indict. We're going to indict Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and James Biden and every other scumball.
Tell me these aren't Russian talking
points. Except for the 5-year-old granddaughter who they refused
Congress tried and they gave up
for 5 years until the political pressure got to Joe Biden. Number 3, we're going to deport. We're going to deport a lot of people, 10 million people and growing, anchor babies, their parents.
What does that mean, 10 million people?
We're going to put kids in cages. It's going to be glorious.
Sick, very sick. And what he said, remember what he said, parents, grandparents, like they want the entire families, whether you're born here or legally or not.
You know what the worst part is? The only places that they're going to be able to build camps big enough are in rural areas. And the only way they're going to be able to transport them efficiently is using trains.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Like, how are they going to fund all these camps? How are they going to feed all these people? It's going to literally be concentration camps.
Do you think that, let's pretend that a Donald Trump presidency again would look anything like reality. So on his first State of the Union, is he going to announce that our taxes are now funding deportation efforts and camp building efforts.
Right. So first we're going to put them in camps, and then like not everybody comes
You're
from
going to
the
feed
same
them?
place. So you know what I mean? You're going to have planes.
Well, Jeremy,
ready,
you have to understand
people
they're
to
all
different
brown,
countries.
so they'll just sort it out.
Right. They're just going to send everybody to Mexico, apparently, is what they're going to do. But yeah, so speaking of anchor babies, we might want to talk to some of Trump's kids about that. Anyway, so Mike Johnson's a nightmare, but that was Benny Johnson's show where they're laughing and giggling about, you know, locking kids in cages and getting rid of entire families. They think it's funny. These people are sick. These people are absolutely sick. But tell me Mike Davis wasn't just, those are just Russian talking points, deep state, arresting political opponents. Those are Putin's talking points. Okay. So there's not just the people that we know about on this indictment that were paid insane amounts of money. There are other people that are voluntarily doing this, and they are high up in Donald Trump's inner circle.
Yep.
We actually did a show on this where we compared Donald Trump's inner circle to Adolf Hitler's inner circle. The parallels are crazy. Okay. Yep. So I feel like we're almost doing the same episode, but now we have a few more viewers. So maybe it'll get through some heads of what's going on.
We're working our way through the Axis powers.
Right.
Although luckily Japan's like, we forgive you for bombing us. We'll be a cool country. And we still treat them like shit.
So before I want to get into some videos of Trump talking about Russia.
You want to go through Russia?
Being involved with Russia. Yeah. Do that first before I go any further.
I'll try and make this quick. This is just to show you who haven't dug into it like us two knuckleheads, because that's what we do for fun.
Weird.
What's actually going on? So this is from CNN. Sorry, MAGA. Sometimes you just get an article from a source, and it happens to be one you're grumpy about. The unnamed Tennessee-based company that the Justice Department alleges was being funded by Russian operatives worked as part of a Kremlin-orchestrated influence operation targeting the 2024 U.S. election. It is Tenet Media. So this was when they finally announced who it was, which is linked to right-wing commentators with millions of subscribers on YouTube and other social media platforms. The indictment unsealed in New York Southern District accused 2 employees of Russian, I forget what that stands for, the Kremlin's media arm, of funneling nearly $10 million to an unidentified company. That's it, Russian television. Okay, so what was the use of that? Well, the goal of the operation, according to the prosecutors, was to fuel pro-Russian narratives. Wow, like that's all Donald Trump does is pro-Russian narratives.
Right.
By pushing content and news articles favoring Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump and others who the Kremlin deemed to be friendlier to its interests. Among the commentators listed on their website are right-wing personalities Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin. There are several, if not many others. All have released statements saying they were victims of the alleged Russian scheme. Maybe they were. I don't care. And they maintained editorial control of the content they created. I don't care if they knew or didn't. It's the
ignorance is not an
happened. If they were involved in it, it's still happening, and that's the problem. Wednesday's indictment outlined how the American social media stars were hired by Tenet Media. Some of the creators were told the project was being bankrolled by a man named Edward Gregorian. I don't know. I don't care. In truth and fact, the indictment reads, this person was a fictional persona. Okay. The indictment outlines how one of the social media stars was approached by Tenet Media's founder with an offer of $2 million a year to make videos for the company. Here's our talking points. You make videos. It's a lot like how contract writing works. Oh, I need an article for something. You'll write it? Okay.
Yeah.
One of the founders later wrote, it would need to be closer to $5 million yearly for him to be interested. The Russian state-controlled media, oh, that's funny, Russian TV lists Chen, and we'll get to that, as a contributor for several articles in 2021 and 2022. She is also linked to the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA, which is Charlie Kirk's little We Make Books to Infiltrate Schools project. Yeah. Okay, Turning Point USA is a garbage pit of humanity. As of Thursday afternoon, Turning Point USA had deleted web pages featuring Chen. So she's a right-wing influencer, Lauren Chen. And someone I watch, a streamer that I watch regularly for some reason, because I'm an idiot, the name escapes me. Nope, got it. Dead Domain. Awesome content. Went from being video game related media to just these amazingly in-depth research on politics and right-wing media. It's fascinating. They did a video today where they critique right-wing comedians because those people aren't capable of humor. And the whole video was this person, Lauren Chen, literally just telling degrading jokes about homeless people and minorities, unironically thinking that she was funny, but she's actually just a trash person that's just out there and getting paid to spread bullshit. So really, who's to say she's not out there on the circuit, on the comedy circuit, to going to right-wing audiences? Because don't forget, what's the point of the media? The KGB said it. You got to get people to start believing it and living in this lie. So now if you go to a comedy show and someone's like, ha, 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 the blacks and Mexicans, you who might already be bigoted is going to be like, yeah, that's right. Ha, ha, ha. Let me share her video. Uh-oh, you just shared her video. And what's the video being made for and by and who?
Because once the video gets out and once the video... Because once it serves its purpose, it's a little late. You know what I mean? Once the information is out there and people believe it, that's they accomplished their goal.
Here's the last one.
Okay.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go over that.
At Russian President Vladimir Putin's direction, 3 Russian companies used fake profiles to promote false narratives on social media. Internal documents produced by one of those Russian companies shows one of the goals of the propaganda effort was to boost the candidacy of one Donald J. Trump, or whoever emerged as the Republican nominee for president, according to an FBI affidavit.
Yes. So the whole purpose. See, I think once Donald Trump gets in, because Donald Trump's not, he acts like he's a tough guy, but I guarantee he's scared shitless of Vladimir Putin, as he should be, because the guy's psychotic and he's dangerous and he's very smart. But his plan, I mean, you got to admit, this is a diabolical, just insane plan that's we see unfolding before our very eyes. Russians are deeply involved in our politics, in our media, and are trying to get Donald Trump reelected. That's crazy. Never thought I'd say something like that. But all right, so next is chief propagandist Alex Jones, who conveniently predicted Donald Trump's assassination attempt. Because this was from
alleged assassination attempt.
Alleged, yeah, because we still don't buy it. So here is Alex Jones saying that Donald Trump would attempt to assassinate him at Turning Point USA.
He gets a little animated. It's a little
yeah.
What do you think they'll do to President Trump between now and Election Day?
You're reading my mind.
What will they do to him?
God literally gave us Donald Trump, imperfect as most men or women that God raises up in history. But he is a man of steel. He is a man who has ice water in his veins. He is a man who gets stronger under attack. And so they have already put him through hell with all these show trials and rigged courts, civil and criminal. And they are going to try to assassinate President Trump. Make no mistake about that. They are going to try to pull out all the stops. And so we've got to pray for President Trump. They're bringing new lockdowns, more forced injections. They're cutting off the farms. They're cutting off the energy. And if you think the economy in free fall right now is bad, it is going to be 10 times worse. So this is existential. We are at war with the globalists, and we must now recognize that this is a war.
Crazy. But that's what they go around the country saying, stuff like that. And I just love how he conveniently predicted Donald Trump's attempted assassination. And then we've called bullshit on it almost from day one.
You know what I read recently? I didn't know this part of it. Ronnie Jackson has said that the hole that was in Trump's ear was about 2 millimeters. Okay, so to us stupid Americans who don't know what millimeters are, a penny is like 1.97 millimeters. Think about that. Take a frickin' penny, if you have money or cash, actual coinage anymore. Put it to your ear, look in a mirror, and realize that he's not a lizard, unless he's one of those lizards. He can't regrow a body part. He did not heal a giant hole in his ear like 2 months after it got blown through.
Now, I called bullshit on the whole being a bullet that hit him. I swore at first that it was a piece of glass or something that hit him. But then after 3 weeks, you have no cut, apparently, no visible scar whatsoever. Why is nobody talking about that? But whatever, hey.
Him and Evander Holyfield go to the same support group.
Right? Yeah, look at the damage on Evander Holyfield's ears worse when Mike Tyson bit a chunk out of it than what Donald Trump had when getting hit with an AR-15.
Watch that live. I remember.
All right, so we have a lot more to go through. So let's get into some of the Hannity clips. This is back in 2018 when Donald Trump was actually president, and this was regarding the Mueller report, I guess. And just look at his face and his reaction when talking about, they don't have anything on me. Whatever.
Mr. President, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
You literally just finished the press conference with President Putin moments ago. A lot came up. You were very strong at the end of that press conference. You said, where are the servers? What about what Peter Strzok said? Where are the 33,000 emails? And there was this mystery answer that I think surprised a lot of people by the president of Russia as it relates to the Mueller investigation.
That's right. Well, first of all, he said there was no collusion whatsoever. I guess he said as strongly as you can say it, they have no information on Trump. It was an interesting statement, too. Many years ago when I was there, what was it, 13, a long time ago, he said there were many, many business people there. In all fairness, I was a very successful businessman, but I was one of a lot of people. And one thing if they had it, it would have been out.
He said it was nonsense.
He said it's nonsense, is right. And he also said there's absolutely no collusion.
If they had it, it would have been out.
And everybody that watches the show knows. And I think most of the country knows. And Tucker standing right over there definitely knows.
Oh, yeah, there's Tucker. Good old Tucker Carlson.
So if I'm understanding this interview, Donald Trump is saying that you are being accused by our government of interfering in an election.
Yeah.
Did you do it? And then the guy who was alleged to do it and the guy who he was alleged to do it for, they understand each other. So they know there's truth being told. So the guy that was accused went, no, I didn't do it. And then the guy that was accused of him doing it for went, see, he didn't do it. Because if he did it, he would give up his leverage on me. He actually said if they had it, they'd use it. That's not how leverage works. They wouldn't give it up. That's the whole point.
All right. So before I get into the next video, I actually want to play because you're going to think I got this video from like a North Korean television show or something. Okay. This is how bad Mike has not seen this video. This is going to be a blind reaction from Mike, but this is an actual ad. Okay. We did not make this. This is a real ad for Donald Trump's new book, which is just a picture book. It's not a book.
Is it a pop-up book? Please tell me.
I swear to God, I was almost expecting a pop-up book.
Oh my God.
All right, so we're gonna play this ad. This is on OAN, right wing media channel OAN. So let's play this, and you're gonna die. This is so creepy.
He started a movement. Now he has a book to look back on the movement so far. It's called Save America, and it's a beautiful photographic documentary of Trump's presidency and beyond. The striking images show Trump combating the coronavirus, fighting terrorism, creating jobs, securing the border,
this is a picture of him
unleashing American energy, revitalizing patriotism, and restoring the American spirit.
With the upside
it
down
shows
Bible.
Trump defending our values, our families, our traditions, and our freedom. And it says that if elected to a second term, the best is yet to come.
Sorry.
Yeah.
On the very first page is the 45th president's mugshot.
Mugshot,
printed
bro.
on his handwriting, it says, "Never give up, never surrender."
You surrender.
Wait, what is that
the
from?
main message of these pictures.
Never give up,
that will
never
assault
surrender.
your
What is
eye
that
to
from?
ensure that you
Buzz Lightyear?
understand that what he always
No.
says is true. In the end, they're not coming after him. They're coming after you. He's just standing in their way.
Buy my book.
Wow,
Buy my
bro,
book.
that's
Because
crazy.
they're not after me, who is a 34-time convicted felon. They're not after me, who's an adjudicated sexual assaulter. No. They're not after me, who orchestrated a coup against the United States government. They're after you. You
That
who
is
have no power in our economic system. You who are never going to be president yourself. They're after you.
I know.
Buy my book.
Donald Trump is
buy
just
my book.
standing in the way. I know.
It's
buy my
beautiful.
book.
It shows him creating.
How is there a picture of you creating jobs?
Donald Trump
like
creating jobs. Donald Trump liking energy.
Donald Trump securing the border. It's just him standing next to a fence. It's like, oh my God, man.
I guarantee you. Wait a minute. If people are generous enough to donate just enough money for us to buy that book, I will purchase that book. I will go through it, and I will count for you how many of those pages have him with his thumbs up on it. Because I'm very interested. How many?
Probably all of them, man. Oh my!
We're gonna count how we'll have a raffle. How many thumbs are shown in this book?
Exactly. So, all right. So we're about halfway through the show, guys. If you've made it this far, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family so they can see what's really going on behind the scenes with Donald Trump and his cronies. So I'm not going to play the last video, but Donald Trump basically has never said anything remotely bad about Vladimir Putin. If anything, it's almost like a bromance. Yeah, there's probably a P tape.
There's a P. Look, let me tell you something. There's not only a P tape, but there is some tape of Giuliani, and the reason is because we saw it almost happen again in the second Borat movie. The guy was about to do something very bad with someone he thought was a child. We watched it happen.
All right.
Wait.
Do we have something for that? Allegedly. Yeah, we got to put that up. It's a running theme on this show, allegedly. We just have to throw it out at random. All right. So anyway, let's go on. We're going to stop talking about Russia for a minute, and we're going to talk about how dumb Trump is. His brain is just deteriorating. So he holds this weird press conference where he doesn't really take any. I don't think he took a single question, and he just starts talking about people that he allegedly sexually assaulted. I mean, we know for sure he assaulted E.G. and Carol because she won her case, so we don't have to say allegedly on that one. And all Donald Trump has to do for the rest of his stupid life is not say her name and not talk about it. He can't even do that. Now look at him. And then I think in this video I have also, he pretty much says his legal team sucks right in front of him. Just look at the look on their faces, man. I can't imagine being Alina Habba or whatever this guy's name next to her.
And I'm disappointed in my legal talent, I'll be honest with you. They're good. They're good people. They're talented people. Today at the trial, they didn't mention the dress. So the Monica Lewinsky type dress was a big part of the trial. Big part of the trial. So why didn't you mention that? And I heard there was a dress involved.
He's setting the stage for a mistrial.
But she made up a story and fabricated 100% that I attacked her at Bergman. You know, it's very interesting. I don't think they're allowed to use this either. Her favorite show is Law and Order. And there's a almost exact story as her story in Law and Order.
What?
About being attacked in the dressing room of a department store. I don't know if they used the name of the store. But that's her favorite show, Law and Order. She said that.
He's got to get sued again.
That is straight. That is defamation right there. He just literally said that.
That's, you know what? I'm going to go out to say that might be the most clearest example and concise example of defamation he's ever done to her. He literally just said this was a made-up Law and Order story.
It's like prosecution. Present your case, okay?
My legal team is so stupid. My legal team is the dumbest.
Yeah, my legal team is stupid. Then let me defame somebody else.
Hold my beer.
Sure. Right. How has nobody told Trump, just shut the fuck up? Don't ever say her name again, bro. What's wrong with you? You keep messing it up. All right. So let's go on to, he also, and we've never heard, we covered Donald Trump a lot. This is great. We covered Donald Trump a lot. And I have never once, we know there's allegations of sexual assault from multiple women, not just E.G. and Carol. She just happens
like
to be
dozens
one that actually,
over his life.
Right, dozens. And we've never heard this woman's name. So why he brought her up, I will never figure this out.
I'd also like to point out, he's reading it from paper, and he can't do it.
He can't remember her name. I can't remember her name. Just look at this. This is so like, why did he bring this up? I don't understand this.
And her name was whoever. Let's see. Her name was who? Swornoff, yeah. I don't have it. Whatever her name was. I don't know the lady, so perhaps it's much better that way. But
you
really
just brought her name up.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Her name.
You didn't have to mention her. You didn't have to mention her.
Anybody watching this show, have you ever heard the name in a headline or anything? Natasha Stoyanov. Apparently, she was a People magazine writer, and first he bragged about that she wrote this beautiful article about him and Melania, and saying how great of a marriage they were. But then he's talking about how she accused him of assaulting her at the same time. I've never heard this name once in anything that we've covered on this show. We've been covering we've been like trying to be as detailed as possible and know the ins and outs of everything. And I've never heard that woman say before.
I just don't understand.
Right.
Like,
why would you draw attention to that?
That's not even the worst example of his mental decline, if we want to be somewhat nice. I mean, whatever he was rambling about before that, like, he decided or thought it necessary, or maybe there was a plan to do it, to bring her name up, couldn't remember her name, looked over at Alina Habba, heard the name, still couldn't say the name, then goes, I don't even know what her name was. I don't know who she is.
Yeah. So I don't know why just drawing attention to things you don't want to draw attention to. More of your victims. Jesus Christ. Like Operation Let Him Speak is going so good. But again, I don't know why he held this press conference, because that's all it was about, is him talking about sexual assault and trying to deny that things happened that we already know for a fact.
I didn't do this thing because all the people that say I did this thing to them, if I did the thing, it wouldn't be to them.
Just so yeah, go watch it. Well, you should watch the whole thing. It's crazy. It's like 30.
Could you please tell us who your target would be? I'm very interested. Those women should be warned.
Right? Oh shit. Okay. So yeah. Oh, have you seen the Melania videos lately? Like, those are just weird.
I didn't want to touch them. I don't know what she's trying to do, but it's not help Trump.
My husband, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. She's never seen. She must have been paid pretty meat. He's like, look, lady, I'll give you, I'll give you whatever you want, man. Just
I'll give you your very own Bitcoin coin.
Bitcoin mine. I'll name my Bitcoin after you.
Yes, I'll name my biggest mine after you, Bitcoin Melania.
You know, it's funny about that Bitcoin thing, because the Trumps are trying to create their own Bitcoin. Even Bitcoin people are like, that's freaking stupid. Yeah. The grift is just, I give them credit, man. They know how to get a couple dollars out of people. They really do. Okay, so moving on. It gets worse. Here we have Donald Trump. What was this event again? I don't even remember. Let me look. The Economic Club in New York. And they ask him legitimate questions. And these are people with degrees. They know what they're talking about when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the government. So he's asked several questions. One of which I thought was interesting, about sanctions. What would he do with sanctions? And the gentleman asked him specifically about Russia. Donald Trump openly says he's going to lift sanctions on places like Russia, North Korea, China, all that. He doesn't care. As long as money's involved, he doesn't care.
This is a man who is telling you that his way to fix the economy is to impose tariffs on goods from China and every other country. And when he says that, the average MAGA moron's like, yeah, that makes sense. But if you actually, just spend 1 minute and Google what a tariff is, you'll understand that tariffs are not paid by the country on which you levy the goods and the taxes on the goods. They go to the consumer and they raise the prices. So if Donald Trump is putting a tariff on goods from China, of which we get like 70% of all of our stuff, no one will be able to afford anything anymore.
Yeah, because they're talking about across the board.
This is like everything, basic economic stuff. I get it. Most people don't know how it works. We're not geniuses. We just do some research and learn basic words. It's like not that complicated.
It's not that hard. You don't have to be highly intelligent to learn some of these things. It's just
You just have to
learn
put
how
some
basic-
effort into breathing in and out once or twice a minute.
Right. All right, so let me play the video real quick.
So my specific question is, would you strengthen or modify any of these economic sanctions programs, particularly Russia, including the pipeline you mentioned?
Well, it's a great question. The problem with what we have with sanctions, and I was a user of sanctions, but I put them on and take them off as quickly as possible because ultimately it kills your dollar.
What the hell does that mean?
Kills everything the dollar represents, and we have to continue to have that be the world currency. I think it's important. I think it would be losing a war. That would make us a third world country, and we can't let it happen. So I use sanctions very powerfully against countries that deserve it, and then I take them off because, look, you're losing Iran.
Doesn't even know
you're
what a
losing
sanction
Russia.
Is.
China is out there trying to get
You
their
mean we're
currency to
losing?
be
Iran,
the
don't want
dominant currency,
Iran
you know,
and
better than
Russia.
anybody. All of these
You don't
things are
want them.
happening. You're losing so many countries because there's
What
so
are we
much
losing? Iran
conflict
doesn't
with
produce
all of these
anything.
countries that you're going to lose that, and we can't lose that. So,
See? So there you go.
Tell me
not
how
a good answer.
lifting a sanction on Iran would help the U.S. economy.
Right. How
Don't say
exactly
oil.
does that help? It
Don't
doesn't
say
make
oil
any
because
sense
we sell
whatsoever.
most of our oil gets sold to like OPEC. So
Right.
no.
But in Donald Trump's mind, we don't produce enough oil because drill baby drill is part of his whole shtick. It gets worse
Whatever.
though. Then he
Oh,
tells
no,
the
not
room
the other
full of
one.
these people that 100% of the new jobs that Biden has created, 100%, which is all of them, of the
Think
millions
about
of jobs that Joe Biden's created is going to
think about that. That means
illegal immigrants.
every single job that was a new job for someone in the last 4 years was from an illegal immigrant, which means if your cousin got a job, they're an illegal
He's
immigrant.
Illegal immigrant, then I guess. I don't know what he's talking about in this. And this has, I don't know how this isn't disqualifying. He obviously does not know what he's talking about when it comes to any subject.
and the Arab nations, and we're very honored to have some of my friends here with us today from that part of the world, but they're working very hard despite being here that I not be your president. They don't
What is
like
he
me.
saying?
Of the net job creation in the past year has gone to illegal migrants. Think of that. 100% of the
Think of
jobs
that.
created
You just see if you
under
think I'm
this
thinking about things.
administration has gone to illegal migrants that came into our country. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris formed the worst presidency and vice presidency by far.
Yeah. Okay. So 100%. 100% is going towards illegal aliens. All right. So Donald Trump
100% of his brain is falling out of his ass.
Well, see, one of the new conspiracy theories that they're pushing is that they're registering millions of illegal immigrants to vote for Kamala Harris. That's what they're pushing on Truth Social.
That is what they've been pushing. They keep saying, think about it. Think about it. They keep saying 20 million or the number's growing. They keep talking about how many illegals are coming. It's 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. So FYI, whatever Donald Trump loses this election by is miraculously what the final number of legal immigrants is going to be.
Right. So Trump is freaking out and he has been posting like crazy. Like here's one about an interview by Tucker Carlson. So that's obviously legit source of information. Of an election expert indicates that 20% of mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania are fraudulent. Here we go again. Where is the Attorney General and FBI to investigate? Where is the Pennsylvania Republican Party? We will win Pennsylvania by a lot unless the Dems are allowed to cheat. The RNC must activate now.
Wait a minute.
Like, this is
Wait a
not
minute.
happening.
His daughter-in-law runs the RNC. The reason the Republican Party is not active in Pennsylvania is because you're probably going to lose it, and there's no money coming into your campaign that there's enough to matriculate it down to the smaller down ballots, but you're not even you're keeping all that to pay your legal bills.
I think it just shows the mental state of Donald Trump. I mean, obviously, because using Tucker Carlson, this is not exactly.
Yeah, but he just shit on his own daughter-in-law. He's too dumb. They know his own bullshit.
Right, but he's losing it. Like, look up. Here's a couple other posts that he did. The last one's just epic. The newest conspiracy theory we'll talk about here in a second. He also is posting in all caps, Truth Social is great. The real voice of America.
I'm going to check what their stock is right now.
And actually went up by a few cents today. I watch it. It's the only stock I watch. I promise you, I'm not that guy. And recently, the newest conspiracy theory is that Haitians, I think it is, are coming into the country.
Oh, yeah.
And they're eating people's pets. Bro, I laughed so hard when I read this shit, but this is Donald Trump's post.
No,
okay.
Wait.
And he just
Go
did
ahead.
this like shit right before the show. These are Donald Trump's. Bro, come on, man.
Wait. Put that back. All right. Count the animals with me. So you see that nice, pretty cat sitting in his lap? And the duck to that cat's right. And then there's a little black cat top head. Then there's a cat above that. What is that duck cat right near the window?
It's a cat duck.
And look at that duck to the left of the window. What the hell?
I didn't notice that before, dude. It's like the cat and duck birth together.
Dude, I spent so much time making AI images now for fun that I'm getting
But
very
that's a
good. Like, not that that was a good one,
candidate,
but
man.
I just look
He's
at them.
He is pushing these conspiracy theories that illegal immigrants are going to vote by the millions.
Again.
And that Haitian immigrants are eating people's cats and ducks.
And wait a minute. Go back to the beginning.
Have you ever
of the
been able to
episode.
catch a duck? Like you know how hard it is to catch a duck?
Grab a duck. They're laying duck traps all over.
Oh shit, bro! I can't stop picturing it. Just a bunch of Haitians in a park, like stalking ducks and shit. Like, what do they think is going on?
But the funny part is, and no, you know what? Let me take that back. It's not the funny part. The serious part of it is, let's go back to the beginning of the show. It's basic propaganda 101. It's always about making groups seem subhuman, that they're going to attack you. Oh, they're eating people's pets. Number one, they're monsters because they're eating animals' pets. And two, they're eating your pets. Stop. But JD Vance has actually been going around talking about this in rallies and interviews. He's been spreading. He's like actually the number one super spreader of this bullshit conspiracy theory.
I know. It's crazy that people believe stuff like this. Oh, you know what I found out too? I think the RNC is doing a watch party at a gun store, literally miles from where the recent school shooting was.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
And you know what the best part about that is? If anyone has the balls to say that that's an oversight or a mistake, that person should lose their job immediately. Because that is a deliberate, we love guns, screw you, we're not taking your guns, let's have a party at a gun store.
Yeah, we're going to watch the presidential debate at a gun store mile.
I bet you they're going to go out back and shoot off their guns like it's the old West. Woo!
Man, I swear. Okay. I mean, I got a good laugh out of that. I wasn't expecting to crack up like that, but that duck shit is hilarious. Like, I'm just picturing people.
A pet rat's ass. Pet rats are really good pets, actually.
All right. So the last one about this thing in New York that he did at the economy, because he's in a room full of economists, and they asked him about childcare. This is the best. This is the best.
Wait.
Donald Trump's brain literally short circuits in real time on this question.
I know it's hard for me to do. I am not going to say a word. We just want you to listen to this and clear your mind and listen to the words.
Okay, listen to the question and then listen to his asinine response to this question.
When in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do
Look at
that.
the Chiron.
And we're sitting down. You know, I was somebody. We had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country.
What do tariffs have to do with daycare and childcare? He doesn't understand what childcare is because he's never taken care of his own children. He has had people raise his kids for him. He pays people for that shit. I don't even think he realizes they're talking about like expenses, childcare expense. I don't know what tariffs.
He doesn't even know it costs money to take care of kids. Look,
no,
I gotta tell you,
like, well, I don't.
In about 7 minutes, we're gonna have to listen to 2 hours of that rambling bullshit.
God, how did he go from to tariffs?
I don't know.
I like the Chiron at the bottom.
You know why?
Donald Trump says tariffs will decrease, but don't know how he's going to do it. He doesn't explain anything. There's no policies, man.
No,
these are just
my
stupid
completely
ramblings.
Untrained psychological analysis. If I had to guess, he only understands, like if he said economy, the only thing he understands is tariffs, taxes, China, tariffs. So like going there, preparing for that, if we're going to use that term very loosely, his brain cycle was stuck on tariffs, China, tariffs, because you could tell from the first like 20 seconds of that, he couldn't even jumpstart his brain to bullshit an answer. My daughter, Marco Rubio, many people, childcare must have many numbers. Childcare.
It's so bad.
And then he went, childcare costs money. Make pain. Tariffs pay child care.
Other countries and tariffs. That's how we're gonna fix childcare expenses. Other countries and tariffs. That's Donald Trump's solution. I feel so much better already. Why are we even talking about? Like, how is this still a close race at this point? But I think honestly, Donald Trump's confidence comes from the information, because I don't think his people are giving him the same information. Because I see him post some polls where he's winning in the states by like 20, 30 points. And it's like, bro, no, you're not.
Because he's always been someone you can't tell the truth to. You can't criticize him, and anything that he perceives as negative is an attack on him. So the people that actually get paid, that somehow receive some money from him, aren't gonna put that at risk by showing him an article that's like, no, you're a freaking idiot and everyone thinks you're a moron. They're not gonna do that. They're just not gonna do that. And if you showed him a legitimate poll, not that polls tell you everything, but if you showed him legitimate polls showing trends of people away from support for Donald Trump, he would lose his mind. He would blame it. He'd say, "You're doing it wrong. Go find me the better poll."
It's fake news.
Yeah, like so his yes men are now babysitters and they coddle him all day. That's it.
Right.
Just we all happy. Know okay, Grandpa.
Anything negative about Donald Trump is fake news. Any poll against Donald Trump is rigged. Anytime he loses at anything, it's rigged. It's the same tune. We've been listening to the same tunes.
10 years almost. 10 freaking years we've had to listen to this.
I'm exhausted by this.
Crying, whiny bitch.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about Donald Trump's debate prep interview with Sean Hannity, who I think we need to be looking at his bank accounts as well. Just saying. Debate prep, where Donald Trump actually forgets who he's running against. He still says Biden. And then his strategy is just to let Kamala talk, whatever that means.
I can't imagine New Hampshire voting for him. Anybody in New Hampshire, because they're watching right now, but anybody in New Hampshire that votes for Biden and Kamala.
I want to ask you the final question. In 5 nights, you'll be on the stage, not with me, but with Kamala Harris. Now, if I'm going to make a prediction, I think she's going to try and annoy, agitate, irritate, frustrate, and piss you off, to use a phrase. And are you aware of how she debates, and probably every name in the book she can call you, and without giving away your tactic?
Yeah, you don't want to do that, but when I had
it makes me wonder how
the same discussion,
prepared,
and I let him talk.
He's so unprepared.
I'm going to let her talk because
I honestly wish
though
they were going to keep the mics on. I honestly wish they would keep the mics on. Just
whatever.
So everybody can see what a rambling.
See, people say it's going to help Trump, and while it will to a degree, I actually think it'll help Kamala control any impulses, because the guy brings up rage in all of us, to control any impulses that might get her to get out of her game, to stay. Look, she's going to attack him, but it's going to be clever. It's going to be prosecutorial. So
Exactly.
if she doesn't have to hear,
she
doesn't have to hear, she's going to hear his bullshit on the stage. She's 5 feet away from him. But if it's not being projected through the microphone, she's not going to be compelled to correct it to deal with it. So I think it's actually going to help her in some ways, but that's just me.
So I hope she brings up some of the just ridiculous claims that Donald Trump makes, like abortions after birth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So she's got. We got 3 seconds until the debate starts. So I guess that's our cue to get out of here. But
yeah,
we're gonna go watch Kamala just completely crush Donald Trump in this debate. I cannot imagine a world in which this ends well for Donald Trump. Because he's a mess, especially off script, especially off teleprompter.
Especially against a powerful black woman.
Oh, it's going to drive him nuts. It's going to drive him nuts. And there's like bingo cards going around and like people are taking bets on what dumb shit Donald Trump is going to say. So we'll see what happens. But we're going to get out of here, guys. We have some big shows lined up. Next Tuesday, we have retired Lieutenant Colonel Fred Wellman from Midas Touch Network coming back on the show. I'm excited about that, have him back on. And we do have some stuff, some big projects again with Liz from Stop Moms for Liberty lined up as well. We appreciate all your support. We just found out yesterday that we got accepted into the YouTube partner program. So we are officially up and running. So we are looking at getting some merchandise and stuff done as well.
We have ideas.
So we appreciate all your support. Anybody that's donated money to us through our GoFundMe, we appreciate you very much. So helping keep this show going. Also, if you'd like to donate, we do have a GoFundMe link in the bio. We're trying to get studio equipment and make it proper. So other than that, have a good night. Enjoy the debate, and like always, we'll talk to you soon.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
Some say of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement that the cruelty is the point. They're right. When Governor Tim Walz took to the stage at the DNC, he showed us not only a proud vision for America, but a deep love for his family. Building an America that's better, more compassionate, is personal for Tim Walz, whose son Gus has special needs. Gus exploded with love for his father after he took the stage.
The camera caught him so incredibly proud of you, so emotional, saying, "That's my dad."
I'm grateful I got to experience it, and I'm so proud of him.
It was a wonderful moment for any decent person watching. But MAGA is anything but decent. Insults, mockery. These are the voices of Trump's enablers, the people who make up Donald Trump's movement. What kind of people taunt a disabled child? Trump's people. It's time to ask, is this who you are? Is this how you're raising your children? Is this what you want from a president?